David Rollins, and I've been asked to put together a small video on how to keep each other safe when we're drilling within HEMA. Now this might be helpful for other martial arts as well. Predominantly this is for our 2 Days of the Blade event at the weekend, but I hope you'll find some use in there. Now, the first thing to bear in mind is that although it can feel quite counterintuitive, it's very, very important that we bring the blow to the opponent or our partner. Now, we do not need to put in force and we do not need to put in speed. We need to look at the mechanic initially. So the mechanic is going to override anything else. Once we've got that, we can add speed and we can add force. Now, quite often when we're striking, what will happen is that we'll try and give our partner safety while trying to maintain what we believe is the reality of a combat move. So, for example, we'll do something like this, where I'll go, I'm going to strike at you, and the strike is actually to strike through, like so, or to strike through, like so, or to thrust. Now, on each of these, if I do the strike through, you'll notice that the blow will come to you, so you'll actually have something to work with. Again, I'll strike to you, you'll have something to work with. I'll thrust and I'll follow in afterwards. So again, I offer you the blade and I give you something to work with. The first thing that we are often like to do is go, okay, well, we're going to try and strike really, really hard and really fast because that's what makes it realistic. But in order to keep my partner safe, what I'll do is I'll do this. And I'll strike wide of them. So if you look here, this being the periphery of my opponent, here, I'm striking over here. Now, in the very, very worst sense, I am encouraging my partner to then parry wide. Also, the contact points on the blade will become different and they become irrelevant. They're no longer really what we want from a martial art. Generally within a martial art, feints notwithstanding, generally we're dealing with blows that come to us. Now this gives us better leverage over them when they actually reach to us. It makes voids more appropriate, this kind of thing. Basically, if you strike wide, there's no reason for your partner to actually encounter the blade at all, okay? So we do not want to see any sudden snap motions here where the blow is coming wide here or too high and it's not actually coming towards the opponent. We must offer them the opponent, offer them the sword. Now, this means that the way to deliver the blow or the thrust is to do so safely, slowly, but coming towards the opponent with whichever blow we want. And if you notice, the sword is very much coming first. It's coming before my body and it's coming before my foot. So it becomes hand, body, foot with every single strike. Okay? And as long as you do this calmly, then you should be able to stop the blow, should you need to. Your partner will have something to react to, which isn't you or your hand, and you will be safer because you'll be able to adjust as you're going through. So should you need to stop and keep your partner safe, you're able to observe, actually, I do not deliver the blow. Okay? So slow, but mechanically correct. Try and reach the target, but be aware that you must be able to stop should you need to. And again, the easiest way of doing this is slowly, but with intention. Okay? Secondly, on delivering thrusts, when you come forwards, again with this action of the hand first, okay, always with the hand first, then the body, and this again means that you can judge what you're doing as you're coming forward, so it's a mechanically sound structure as well. As we're coming forward here, the hand goes. Now, if we do this, do not lock the arm out. What will quite often happen is people will come forwards and they'll lunge like this, thinking that they can keep their partner safe by leaning further away. Now, this means my arm is rigid, and the only way my body can actually go is forwards. I have no give in my body anymore. So if he should accidentally run, or she should run accidentally onto my point, I can do nothing to keep them safe because my arm is locked and my balance is out. So what again we're going to do is we're going to issue the thrust first, we're going to come forwards, and should we need to, we can then bend the arm. And because the body is coming forwards, again we can retreat that, should we need to keep our partner safe. And if you think, that has applications for us as well, in that we can issue the thrust and we can go, actually, no, we don't want to. So we can keep ourselves safe. Okay? So in both ways, martially and safety-wise, it's better for us and it's better for our partner. The third point I would make is that on nearly every single cut or thrust, even if you're using an awful lot of control, and as I said, moving through mechanically, soundly, but nice and slowly, what quite often happens is that as our balance shifts on our foot here, as we lift, we go here, we're going nice and slowly with the blow here, and then at the last moment, as our weight goes, everything hurtles forwards. because we do not have control of our balance. So as we're issuing a thrust, for example, here, 1, 2, keep your control of your own balance as you go. And again, this means that should you need to, you can change your foot position. So again, martially, it's better for you. Safety-wise, it's better for you and your partner. Point 4, if you imagine that this bill on the wall here is a line, and this line is simply the line that my opponent or my partner can reach without stepping, with the tip of their sword or with the blade of their sword. Now, what generally happens when we're doing a technique against a blow is that as we go 1 here, you'll notice that my sword is crossing the line, then my body, then my foot. Okay? So I'll come here, 1, 2. And in all of those cases, really, the blow here is going to pass that line and then I'm going to follow through. You see in all those cases, really the blade is occupying that line before I go forwards. Now, this is important quite often as we go through, whether by accident or sometimes by design, we will try and prevent our opponent from having our sword within the strike. And this can take several different forms. The first one being to put in with our hand here, like so, for example, you'll do this, and then you'll try and flick suddenly. And if you do this, if you notice, this is the point that my partner should hit. Do not make this the case. This is purely to prevent your partner from doing the technique. The technique that they'll be doing will usually be against your weapon first. So if they're waiting for your weapon, this is a courtesy. So from here, we issue the weapon first, the weapon goes, and then we go. Okay, and it's only a slight action, but the fact is the blade is going before the hand, and this is important. So now by doing so, we make sure that they have a blade to react to, and we're safer because we're behind the blade. The second way of doing this is indeed to charge forwards with the body. So we'll come here, the head should now be the target, or the body should be the target, because this is closest to my opponent, is what they can reach. It doesn't matter that we then think that we can smash them and they don't get to get our blade, they get to hit us first. And quite often people mistake the courtesy of not hitting you for you winning at the technique. And the two things need to be distinct and separate. This here will give your partner something to react to, but will also keep you safe. This here relies on the courtesy of your opponent not to smash you or to smash your hands because you're being stupid. So as you go through, please make sure that in both cases you offer what is supposed to be offered. Here, 1, 2, or in the case of cut, 1, 2, here, and that always, unless you're instructed otherwise, the blade moves before the body and before the foot. So, primarily the important things to keep you and your partner safe are correct structure, in that you cut to the target, to attempting to touch it, but in a way that keeps both you and your partner safe through your ability to control the strike and its power and its speed. So again here, if I do this gently, even if it touches me, I can control it. The thrust here, again, the same thing. A slight bend in the arm so I can control, but with the body and the hand, or the hand, then the body, then the foot going. These things will allow you to keep your partner safe. The final point is generally one of distance again. Quite often what people will do here is they will try and strike short. If I again use the line here, they'll think, when I'm told to issue a cut at my opponent's head, for example, what I'll do is I'll cut short of the line, so I'll cut here. Now this means all you're doing is you're actually putting your point in front of their face, and this will hold the blade too far away from them to react. So again, although the difference is in the distance, in that we're now short rather than wide, the same thing applies. They have nothing to react to. So again, the distance crossing, or the distance crossing, is going to be what will allow them to have something to react. In all cases, slowly, mechanically correctly, offering the blade to the opponent, unless you're instructed to do something different. And whatever you do, in both cases, for both partners, you move slowly with control of your tool and your balance. As long as you do these things, you should be able to keep each other safe. I hope you have a great event, and I hope that's helpful to those of you who aren't coming. I'll speak to you soon.